Hey guys, Marissa from the Neon Tea Party here. In this video, I'm going to show you how to stack tassels super easily. I'm currently making a pair of earrings. You can also use this process to make a bag charm or whatever else you would like to use stack tassels for. So you're going to need one tassel at the top that's going to be finished, meaning that you've brought the top strings into your tassel before adding your wrap and leaving yourself a nice clean loop at the top. And then every other tassel that you're going to stack underneath it needs to have top strings. And so these top strings, so you're going to make your tassel and tie your top strings at the top and leave them hanging at the top before adding your wrap. So we're going to use these top strings to attach the tassels to one another. And if you're not sure how to make a tassel, be sure to check out our video on how to make tassels. So if you're making earrings, of course, you're going to need 2 of each of the tassels here. And again, just make sure you decide which tassel you want on top, because that one will have the clean finish and then the rest will have the top strings hanging. You'll also need a yarn needle or tapestry needle. I also like this blunt tapestry needle for making tassels, for little tassels, but I'm going to use the plastic yarn needle that comes in our pom-pom and tassel kit. And that's really it. And I guess a pair of scissors too, just to sort of snip as you go. So you're going to want to start with your bottom tassels. So if you're doing a ton of tassels, just start with the bottom 2 and then you'll stack on the tassels on top as you go. So I'm doing this strong pink yarn on the bottom with the orange is going to be in the middle, topped with the lilac. So if you're curious about this yarn, it's called Omega Krill. It's a fine acrylic yarn from Mexico and we sell it in the Neon Tea Party shop. It is the best yarn for making pom-poms and tassels in our opinion. The colors are gorgeous and the texture is really beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to start, as I said, with the 2 bottom tassels. I'm going to put this little guy off to the side for after. So you're going to take your bottom tassel and you're going to separate the top strings that you've tied, and you're just going to take one of them. The Omega Krill is like a 3-ply yarn. It comes with 3 skinny strands. So I'm treating the 3 strands as one, and I'm going to thread it onto my yarn needle. Make sure your tail is long so it doesn't fall off. And now we are going to start stacking our tassels. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to go into our tassel. Our needle is going to kind of go up on a little bit of a diagonal. We're going to pull this string through and start that stack. And then we're going to take the string with the needle, enter back into the tassel going this way, and then go down and then tie these 2 strings together. So that's what we're going to be doing right now. Let me show you how to do that. So you can kind of move away some of the fibers. You can see sort of splitting it in half. And I'm just really going up into the head of the tassel and going on a bit of an angle. And I like to go to the right of where there's that little loop on top next to the knot. I just find that you're kind of going in the natural direction of the tassel construction. So I've gone up into the tassel on a diagonal. I'm starting to pull it through. And make sure your needle stays on. If it comes off, you can always redo it. And gently tug on that strand so that it tucks up underneath the top tassel. Okay, and you can see this is very common to pull through some of the fringe from the tassel. I'm just going to snip that off, but make sure you don't cut your string. Okay, so now I'm gonna go back into the head of the tassel, going across. Just be gentle, like simultaneously gentle and forceful to get your needle into the head of your tassel going across. You don't want to hurt your tassel, but you may need to use like a little push to get it through. So I'm just bringing it across this way and pull through. Make sure you always pull the tail all the way out. And then I'm gonna just make sure I pull through all the slack. And you can give it a nice, another little tug. Make sure your tassel is tucking up there as closely as possible. And then the last step of this part is to take your needle and go back into your tassel, downwards through the head, so that it comes out the bottom underneath of your tassel. So open it up so you can see. You may catch on some little fringes there. There we go. And let's pull that through. There we go. All right, and just make sure you've gotten all the slack, and hopefully you shouldn't see the color of the bottom tassel yarn here, because all of the sewing is basically happening on the interior of the head of your tassel. So we're not done yet. The last step here is to just tie these two strands together underneath. I like to do a triple knot just to make sure it's secure. So let's go 1, 2, 3. All right, nice and tight. And then I'm just going to cut it. I usually leave a little bit of length hanging because number one, you don't see it. And number two, sometimes when you cut too closely to a knot with Omega Krill, it tends to untie. So if you leave it a little bit longer, I find that the knot will last. Okay, so we have 2 tassels stacked. If you have a tassel comb, I always like to give your tassel a little comb after. This is the tassel comb from Loom. We have it in the Neon Tea Party shop. It's one of my favorite tools that is like you wouldn't think that you needed or would find use for, and then once you have it, you use it all the time. It's also great for weaving. So if you're making tassels, this little tool is a no-brainer. So I'm going to repeat that process one more time to add my top tassel here. So we're just going to do the same exact thing again. I'm going to separate the 2 strands, or rather the 2 groups of 3 strands, but you can see this is one side that tied the top knot there. Thread it onto my needle, and then let's take our top tassel. We're going to do the same thing, go into the interior of the tassel. We're going to go up on a little bit of an angle. I'm going to the left of that top loop there, and I'm going to gently pull that through, and then I'm going to stack the tassel. Look at that. You can see it coming together. Okay, and then let's go back into the head of the tassel, going across. Again, you might need to give a little bit of force. Pull through, and then the last step here, go back down into our tassel. Let's move the fibers away and pull, whoop, through. Okay, I'm just gonna give one little final tug to make sure we're snugged up as much as possible. And let's go ahead. I'm actually going to move, let's see if we want to move some of these fibers over. Yeah, that looks better. I'm basically just getting these 2 strands closer to each other instead of tying them over a big chunk of tassel fringe. So that's what I did there. And now I'm just, again, going to triple knot. 1, 2, 3, and just watch your little fibers that want to get stuck in your knot. All right, triple knot, and let's cut. Again, I'm going to leave it kind of long there to make sure that knot really stays. It looks like I got some of those little fringes sticking out again. You can just either tug on them to see if they go back to their original places, which they just did, or you can always just trim them pretty close to your tassel. Let's give this little guy a little comb. And there you go. Stack tassels ready to be turned into some awesome earrings. Let me show you a great pair of stack tassel earrings that I've already completed. Check them out. So all you need to do at this point, if you're making earrings, is just attach some little earring hooks using earring hooks and jump rings. So cute and fun and festive and lightweight. And if you're making a stack tassel bag charm, you can just add a braid to the top, and then I've secured the little braid with a wrap knot, which we also have a video on, so you'll have to check that out as well. But really, you can do so many different things. Here's a keychain. You could attach a little keychain to the top of your stack tassel. You can tie your stack tassel onto the end of a zipper. However you want to use your stack tassels, they make a great addition to any accessory. So I hope you found this video fun and helpful. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you have any questions or comments, be sure to leave them in the comments below, and check out our other tutorials on YouTube and over at theneonteaparty.com. Thanks for tuning in.